So Mufti Faraz, my last question to you is about the halal mortgage that EQRAZ has taken or is providing based on Murabaha structure. It seems to be working similar to a conventional mortgage because we also see a amortizing schedule which is similar to a conventional mortgage amortizing schedule. How is that different, and is that in comparison to halal mortgage fine to take?
Yeah, it's a good question. And look, up here, what we have to understand is we can't make a judgment on something being a halal and haram simply by looking at a table of numbers. I think this is one of the biggest lessons, and it's very important. That doesn't mean anything. It's just the cash flows and payments. So amortization schedule is simply a table of payments that need to be made and the breakdown of it, right? Of what's paid, what's outstanding, the principal amount, the profit rate, all of this. Now, that might look similar to other financing deals, but you are financing at the end of the day. Of course, it's going to look similar to some level and degree, right? Because you're still financing and it's a competition, it's a market. But what determines Sharia compliance is the way the product works, the way the contracts are designed, the process is what, like we discussed previously, not just a table with numbers. And it's really important, I'd just like to highlight here is when we learn about Islamic finance and Sharia, we shouldn't comment. And this is a advice for myself and everybody. If we don't know something, we haven't studied it thoroughly and deeply. When I say thoroughly and deeply, I don't mean just reading a book or because you've studied you have a degree in finance or you're a commentator on finance, it gives you the right to say what's halal and haram. This is a very serious matter. Even scholars tremble when talking about halal and haram. It's a big responsibility. Why? Because we are accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I can't say, if I have doubt about EQRAZ, I'm not going to say EQRAZ is Sharia compliant. I won't. But only when we've done all the review, we've asked so many scholars, we've worked with a team, and we become confident this is done in a proper way, then do we have some courage, some ability, some capacity to say Sharia compliant. So it's a very big responsibility, and there's a lot of risk as well. We have to be very careful before we simply speak on matters on things we don't have knowledge of. And when we comment saying this is haram or this is halal, this is not Sharia compliant, how can they do this? This is riba. So this is just a caution for everybody to keep in mind that you have to go to ulama and scholars. They are the ones who studied. If the ulama give fatwa, for us, our job, if we're not ulama, we just can take the fatwa and practice upon it. You can ask the scholars more details if you want and to help your understanding. But our job, because we've spent our life in other things, maybe you became a doctor, maybe you became something else. But this scholar, he spent his life studying Sharia. So just like the scholar who comes to you for medical issues, you will go to him for Sharia issues. It's teamwork. That's how we operate. So that's what I'd like to say on this particular question, that just because there's a table with numbers, it doesn't mean, and it may look similar to something else, they're just cash flows and payments. What's more important is what's generating those cash flows. That's the key thing to always keep in mind.
Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair. With me was Mufti Faraz Adam. Mufti Sahab, I want to thank you and thank SRB on behalf of EQRAZ and myself for giving your time and effort. And may Allah reward you for your efforts. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.